Hey, what's up, people? This video is going to be about me talking about the setup I believe that the NFL did to the black community. First off, I want to say that I apologize to the black community, to all minorities of watching this bullshit this season. Now, last year I didn't watch the NFL at all. I might have took maybe a little crack at watching some games that might have interested me. Like last year, I remember watching the game with the Seahawks and the Chiefs. It was Wilson against Mahomes, and I like Wilson. I liked the Mahomes last year, but this year it's like even though I feel like that um, he's doing better this year than what he did last year. Even though last year he had a better season, I just feel like that he's a crybaby. That's why I stopped liking him. And I feel like what the NFL is doing now is that they're pandering to his ass. Um, so I just want to say that I'm sorry for watching the NFL this season. Basically, it's been some bullshit. This whole thing with the Titans and the Ravens is like that was ridiculous. I mean, if you're a Ravens fan, like you can blame Lamar all day long, but it's like at the same time, that game was bullshit from the beginning. You know, like the reason why I watch football this year is because I always like the Lamar Jackson because now I do watch college football because I feel like college football is more realistic than the NFL. Even though college football don't pay their athletes, which they're gonna start paying them in 2021, which is still kind of bullshit. But I watch college football, and that was the only reason why I watched the NFL this year because for one, I seen how Lamar did last year with the Ravens when he basically saved the team. Like not only he saved the team, but he saved John Harbaugh's job. And I feel like that John Harbaugh was the right coach for him to have because John Harbaugh would have gave Lamar that championship caliber coach that coached other great players like Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Hello Inada, etc. That good Ravens team back in the day. Um, so like, and also my mom, she's a sports fan like I am. She liked the Baltimore Ravens. That's her favorite football team. Her favorite football player of all time is Ray Lewis. Even though she grew up liking the Cowboys, liking Roger Staubach and etc. But she had started to take a liking to Ray Lewis. And I was like, well, I like Lamar Jackson. I do want to see like how well he was going to do this year. And the obvious is that he did great this year. Like he proved his doubters wrong and he proved his believers right. And so like that's the reason why I had watched football this year. And then like what I seen Saturday was just a bunch of bullshit. It's like I feel like that they told the whole Ravens team, including Lamar, to just throw the game because it's like can't nobody tell me that the Tennessee Titans are this unsung hero team where like they just beating everybody and Ryan Tannehill is this damn is Steve Young or some shit like that. It's like this dude he Ryan Tannehill he's okay but he's not great at all. And it's like, and I'm sure Dolphins fans are looking like, damn, like, where the hell was all this at when you was in Miami? Like in Miami, you had, yeah, you might not had a great running back, but I mean, you had Jarvis Landry, who's one of the best receivers in the league. You had that dude Devontae Parker, who was a first round draft pick. You had a okay defense, so it's like, why you couldn't become the next Dan Marino in Miami? Now all of a sudden you looking like this elite quarterback in the playoffs now. And and I believe in Derrick Henry. I always liked Derrick Henry. I liked him since his Bama days. I knew that he was gonna be pretty good. He was a late first round pick when he came out. He should have been like at least a mid first round pick. I like AJ Brown. He's okay. I feel like he was him and DK Metcalf was like the best receivers that came out last year in the draft. But besides all that, though, like this is a bunch of bullshit. I feel like that the NFL has set up the black community watching football this year. With the whole Kaepernick thing went on, and people like me had stopped really watching it because like I took in the toll to where what Kaepernick was doing it for. Like he wasn't doing it Like forget the flag, forget the anthem. Like he wasn't doing it for that, or he wasn't doing it against that. He was doing it against police brutality on black people. That's the only reason why he did it. Like the flag and the anthem doesn't really have anything to do with it. That's something that people get a misunderstanding of. And I know that people have different feelings about Kaepernick. By him still trying to get a job in the NFL and etc. But who knows? Maybe Kaepernick, maybe he's probably trying to expose the NFL behind closed doors. Because it's like, okay, even though um, even though I took a settlement, but at the same time, the NFL gave me less money than what I made per year with the 49ers. So I mean, there's a lot of things to go on with that story. But getting back to the whole Titans and Ravens game, I mean, like that game was just bogus, man. I mean, the Ravens, they and I had told my mom too. I was like, I'm not gonna. I did see Baltimore make it to the Super Bowl, but I was like, as far as me saying that they're gonna win it, I am not going to say that because I didn't want to curse them. And I had told her that I was like, I feel like that I don't want them to do him the same way they did Cam Newton when he went to the Super Bowl. And to be honest, they did him worse than Cam Newton. Really, I mean, to be honest, I feel like Wilson had got it worse because he was in the Super Bowl game and he had the Super Bowl like in the palm of his hand, but then he had it snatched off his hands at the same time. Whereas Cam Newton, he was bad for like he was average for like the whole game. And now it's a chance of where like maybe Lamar he might not never have a chance. He might not never have a chance to go to the bowl game. And it is something that I don't really care for. And I am kind of I am kind of hurt by it. But at the same time, I shouldn't have fell for this shit. I shouldn't have watched football this year at all. I shouldn't have watched the NFL with the NFL anyway. I shouldn't have watched the NFL at all this year. I feel like that the NFL just hoodwinked, all. I just feel like that they basically set up the black community. I mean, yeah, the whole thing about in a regular season, like, oh yeah, these young black QBs, they having great seasons, and all that, and Patrick Mahomes. It's like, man, in my opinion, Patrick Mahomes, yes, he's a great quarterback. He's a franchise quarterback, but at the same time, the dude, he don't. The dude is a poser, man. Like he don't have no heart to me at all. And it's really funny how like last night when he played, well yesterday when he played, when I seen the highlights, like now yesterday he went all of a sudden running down football. Where it's like, dude, you should have been running football. It's like that. I don't know. I just don't like Patrick Mahomes at all. I don't. And then that whole analogy about him being the Steph Curry of the NFL. Even though Steph Curry is okay to me because I watched him like when he was in Davidson, but at the same time I do get it and it fits the bill because basically what it's saying is that well Steph Curry he always had help on his team just like Patrick Mahomes. Um, Mahomes got Tyreek Hill who's arguably the best receiver in the league. You got Travis Kelsey, who's basically the best tight end in the league. You know, the only player that he don't have on his team anymore that he had last year that was having a good season was Kareem Hunt. So I give him that credit there. Like like he don't have no elite running back, but other than that, he don't have no elite defense either. But other than that, though, I mean, it's like yeah, he can play, but I'm not. I'm just not. I don't feel the dude at all. I don't. I don't. I'm not a fan of the dude. Period. But honestly, in my opinion, I feel like Russell Wilson is better than Patrick Mahomes. But getting back to the whole Lamar thing, it's like like honestly, I would debate any NFL journalist, any football journalist, any Ravens fan to tell me that Joe Flacco was better than Lamar Jackson because no, the hell he's not. Joe Flacco is not better than Lamar Jackson. Um, here's the thing. Okay, I want you to put the Ravens roster that Flacco had up against this Ravens team. And I will tell you right now, Joe Flacco had a way better. He had a way better supporting cast, and he had way better leaders on his team than what this Ravens team got. Like, let's go off the fact that okay, Joe Flacco. Let's see, he went from having what Anquan Bolden, who's probably a future Hall of Famer wide receiver, to Steve Smith. Um, he didn't have a really good tight end, so I give him credit on that. But then he had Ray Rice at his peak. He was pretty damn good. Then on defense, I mean, this dude had Hall of Famers. I mean, he had Ray Lewis, who's arguably the best leader ever to play football. Um, Ed Reed, who's a Hall of Famer. Haloti Naha, Terrell Suggs. I mean, it's like this dude had a way better team than what Lamar has now, and I feel like my problem is like with this Ravens team is that Lamar he don't have great wide receivers. Like that's what the Ravens need to do this offseason. They need to give him great wide receivers. They need to give him another good running back to replace Ingram in the future because Ingram's been in the league for a while now, and plus he's getting injured, so he's not gonna last forever. And they need to get another pass rusher to help him. I feel like that would be the only way Baltimore will win the Super Bowl. So they give him bigger and better wide receivers. Marquise Brown is good, but Marquise Brown is basically a baby Deshaun Jackson. They need to get him a pass rusher and another good young running back. And I feel like that right there will help them a lot in the future. But besides all that, though, I shouldn't have watched the NFL this year. Like I said, I feel like that the NFL set the black community up with, by letting Lamar have a good season because, by people pulling out because of Kaepernick, the NFL feel like that. Maybe we can pull him back in, by us letting have Lamar, and that's no shot against him. Like Lamar, he's actually talented. He's actually good. He can play, but it's the fact that like I feel like that, the NFL was showing all these Ravens games and I live in Missouri, and they were showing a lot of Ravens games on Sundays that I was surprised that they were showing. I was like, wow, you mean to tell me they showing a Ravens game, another Ravens game, another Ravens game? So I just feel like that the NFL just sucked it all up, using the Ravens and Lamar Jackson to lure black people in to watch football again. I just didn't like that shit at all. And this whole thing about the Tennessee Titans, the underdog team. It's like forget all that bullshit. It's like come on now, who do the Titans have besides Derrick Henry that's interesting to watch? Really, I mean Tannehill, are you serious? I mean, come on now, man. Like I said, if this dude was so good, why he couldn't succeed in Miami? And I mean, he was average in Miami. I mean, he helped Miami, I think, go to the playoffs one time. But it's like, dude, I mean, you basically had the same kind of team that you had in Miami, except you didn't have a Derrick Henry. I give you that, okay. But you did have, a pretty good receiving core. You had a pretty okay defense, you know. And like from what I seen, the Dolphins they always gave the Patriots a run for their money. Like the Dolphins could have a sorry ass season, but for some way somehow they'll get a win against New England. So it's like this whole bullshit about the underdog team. It's like all they're gonna do is just lose to KC next week anyway. And if they do win, it's like who the hell gonna watch the Tennessee Titans in the Super Bowl? My honest opinion right now, even though I don't care at all, I feel like that it's going to be a State Farm Super Bowl. It's going to be Patrick Mahomes versus Aaron Rodgers. Even though the 49ers are a better team than Green Bay, but you never know. I mean, shit. I thought Baltimore was. I said Baltimore was a better team than Tennessee, and look how they did that shit. In my opinion, I feel like that New England was a better team than Tennessee. Look what happened there. So it's just like I'm really disappointed. Um, like I'm kind of disappointed in myself for like believing in this shit, for buying into this shit. It's a good thing that I didn't like spend no money on this shit this season. I just basically, but I did give the NFL my attention this season. That's what I regret because of the bullshit that happened Saturday, and I just feel like that it wasn't worth it. And second of all, like another reason why I feel like that I shouldn't have watched football this year is because for one, I don't really have a football team. Well, I don't have an NFL team. So I mean, basically, I'm watching it just for entertainment, really. And I'm watching it because basically, I get bored a lot, so that's why I watch sports. Period. Anyway, because I get bored a lot, and I don't really do a lot of stuff. But besides all that, though, I mean, yeah, like I said, one more time, sorry to the black community about watching football this year. It's a bunch of bullshit. I feel like that they riddled people. I feel like that they riddled us in with with Lamar Jackson and these other black QBs having great seasons. Having us believing that one of these guys could go to the Super Bowl. And it's like, and when I look at Mahomes, like I'm not trying to degrade his blackness, but it's like forget all that. The dude's a crybaby to me. I mean, cause like I remember like watching the game earlier this season when they played against Baltimore at home. Like the referees was giving this team all calls. Like I feel like that if they would have played the Ravens fair and square, the Ravens would have beat them really, and the Ravens almost came back in that game. So if that game was like another few minutes, the Ravens would have won that game. But I just feel like Mahomes, like I said, he's talented, true enough. Like he is a franchise quarterback. I know I haven't posted any videos recently, besides my Yankees video and my Cowboys video. I'm not even going to talk about them because I have a lot of opinions on that one. But this video is basically about the NFL and that Ravens Titans game and how I feel like that the NFL set up the black community for this bullshit that's going on now. And I feel like that they kind of, and I feel like that they kind of did the same thing yesterday with the Titans I mean the Texans and the Chiefs. Sorry, I feel like they did the same thing with that, but kind of, but not as much as I feel like they did the Titans and the Ravens. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. Peace.